Welcome to this episode of Shonen Flop, where we talk about manga and Shonen Jump that didn't make it big. I'm David.
I'm Jordan.
Next week, we'll be covering Bakudan if you'd like to read along with us. Be sure to join the discussion in our Discord and submit your 6-word summary.
And keep in mind, listeners, that is not Bakuman, that is not Bakugan, that is Bakudan.
And it's not one of the other two Bakudan. If it's about a giant teenager that makes Shotarou say, hey man, you gotta slim down, that's the right one. You can find a link to the Discord in our episode description and on our website, shonenflop.com. But this week we are here talking about Embers, and we are joined by Nate Ming. Nate, thank you so much for joining us today. Do you mind telling the audience a little bit about yourself?
Thank you so much for having me, guys. My name is Nate Ming. I worked with Crunchyroll for a very long time. But before that, I have been a very long-time fan of Weekly Shonen Jump. I've been reading it essentially weekly since 1996. So I've seen Empires come and Empires go. And I have read a lot of 20-chapter manga. So I think you picked the right guy for this.
Oh, yeah. We love the U19 Club.
This did dodge the U19 Club by one chapter.
One chapter.
Yeah.
Well, technically two, I guess, because if it is 19, then it's not U19, whatever. But yeah.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. And then, Nate, I know you used to work at Crunchyroll. Do you have any interesting stories while you were there that you'd like to share?
Way too many, and I don't want to drop any names, but there are a lot of fun people there. I miss a lot of them. Yeah, those were some of the best years of my life. It was extremely fun getting to work with fans and, travel around the country, working conventions and dealing with all sorts of problems and issues and just the sheer love that people have at cons. Something that I remember a coworker saying is that every anime is someone's favorite anime, and that has kind of opened me up to trying out a lot of things that maybe I wouldn't consider. Sometimes I can be a hater. I hate Solo Leveling so much. It is the last time I remember after I left Crunchyroll, I stopped watching new anime just because if you watch everything in a season just to keep up, you need a break after that, right? So when I left, I stopped. And then I was working for another company, a card game company, and Solo Leveling was one of their licenses. And I was reminded what it was like to watch something for work. May you never feel that, ever.
It's how we feel reading for this podcast.
I had One Piece ruined for me because I had to catch up in order to, because we were going to be on a One Piece podcast. So I had to read 1,000 chapters of it in a period of time. I try reading it again and I'm just ugh, which sucks because One Piece is great. It's just
You know why I still love One Piece? Because the last time I read it was Enia's Lobby or
that's just the best art.
That's the last time I reread it. It was right before the time skip. And I haven't reread it since then. And I only read my one chapter every, 2 to 3 times a month. I can deal with that. It's fine. I only need to remember what's going on now. And maybe I'll reread it when it ends. But One Piece is eternal. I'm fine with waiting on that. But having to catch up, man, that sucks.
Yeah, it's it's so sad because I try and read One Piece now and it's man, this is good, but ugh.
It's fine. I don't know. The Jump really, really wants to hang on to this as long as it can. Shueisha is a pretty mercenary company, and I say that in the kindest of ways, in that they try and make sure that when something hits big, they show it as much love as they possibly can. Look at Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer started out. We'll go into that later. But here we're talking about.
Well, let's get into actually talking about this series.
Yeah,
Jordan, tell us about it.
So this is Embers. It was written by Kei Kurumazaki and was drawn by Soutarou Nishii. It's apparently the artist's first published work, but they were an assistant for Yusuke Nomura on Blue Lock.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, which is about soccer as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm not familiar with Blue Lock.
Blue Lock is basically Battle Royale soccer. It's very merciless. We'll get into that later, though.
Yes.
Oh. This series ran from February 3rd, 2025 to June 23rd, 2025, so not very long. It replaced Mission Yozakura Family, which went for 29 flops, which went for 29 volumes. Which went for 29 volumes and was a hit. And the series that replaced it was Kaidagami by Jun Harukawa, which went for 2 volumes and is already a flop. U19, so damn, it's crazy. Because Embers got canceled June 23rd this year, and already the series that replaced it is gone. And the series that started at the same time as it is Star of Beethoven, which also was a flop with 3 volumes. So damn. You know, sometimes Jump just gets in this like milling mode, you know, where it's just like they just run through series.
That was kind of like 97 to like 2001 was a lot like that, where we'd get tons of short titles. Because like Dragon Ball ended in what, 95 or 96? And then Rurouni Kenshin was carrying the magazine for a while. Hunter x Hunter came out a little after. One Piece came out in 97. And it was fairly popular, but grew exponentially. And then 99, we got Naruto. And just immediate, like, they're getting all these great titles in the magazine. But between those periods, you're going to see a lot of things just come and go.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of in that mode right now. I mean, especially because Jujutsu Kaisen ended relatively recently.
That was like a year ago, man. The new Jujutsu Kaisen's running right now.
Yeah, but...
They're Boruto.
You know, is Boruto still going?
No, it's not in Shonen Jump.
Oh.
It's not weekly. It's not a weekly one. And Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, I get the feeling, like, of course, correct me if I'm going to be wrong. Like, I may eat my words in the future. This feels like something that's going to be kind of short. Like, I don't think they're trying to, like, keep this one going forever and ever.
Right, so they lost JJK and they've lost My Hero Academia. That was the other big one that ended.
Yeah.
And then aside from that, I mean, they still got One Piece.
Of course, they still got One Piece. That's still going.
Yeah.
Elusive Samurai is coming to an end.
Oh, you know, Chainsaw Man is still kicking along.
And Sakamoto Days is ending too.
Sakamoto Days ending. Chainsaw Man's in Jump Plus though.
Right. So yeah, I mean, it's not that shocking. I guess they're dying to like just kind of desperately find something that takes off.
Well, because like, what do they have that's actually like hitting right now? Of course, there's One Piece. There's Akane Banashi. There's Kagurabachi, which they are really like cultivating.
Ichi the Witch.
Ichi the Witch, great new series. Blue Box, very, very popular. So they have, and Witch Watch. You know, Witch Watch is continuing. I mean, I trust Shinohara whenever he's doing something.
Though I will say, in the interest of time, maybe we should actually talk about the manga that we're...
Yeah, we gotta get going. We could talk about this forever. But yeah, this is Embers, 20 chapters, 2 volumes. Let's get into the plot.
Haitani is the toughest kid in middle school and is always getting into fight. One day, he's stopped by the new teacher, Oshimi, who challenges him to steal a soccer ball from him. Oshimi is soon able to successfully trick Haitani into learning to play soccer, and Haitani gets his fellow delinquents to start a team. In their first match, they're destroyed by the opposing school and their team's ace, Takami. In the game, however, Haitani displays his insanely good defensive ability and skill at stealing the ball by shutting down Takami for all but one goal. Popcorn Jordan.
Next year, Haitani decides to go to Kosei, a high school with a great soccer team. He has to prove himself to Bugai, the captain, and Yukizuki, the coach. Also, it turns out that Takami goes to this school now, too. That's nice. Haitani and Takami again prove themselves by beating a snake guy in a soccer game, letting them join the A team, which is like a fancy way of saying varsity. Their first match has them face a team with a really big guy, but Haitani is able to steal the ball from him and they win easily. Next, they beat a comic relief team off screen. And finally, it's time to face the big boys, Kurobayashi, the team that beats them every year. Haitani and the team run into Oshimi, who is, what? A soccer legend from Kosei? And is, what? Yukizuki's grandpa? And is, what? The coach of Kurobayashi? Oh my goodness! Popcorn David!
There's a guy on Kakurabashi named Nurma who's always solving Rubik's Cubes to show his intelligence, and he's the best guy on the team, but is bored, so he sits out on the first half of the big game. But not that big game. We can say the word Super Bowl. But when Haitani starts stealing balls, Nurma decides to join the match. He demoralizes the shit out of Kosei, but thanks to Haitani.
Hentai, David.
Oh, yes. But thanks to Hentai, the team gets its confidence back, and the main character ends up winning the match. Wow. 12 years later, Takami and Nurma are big soccer guys, while Haitani is a teacher and stops a delinquent from fighting by tricking him into a soccer game. It's kind of like poetry, Jordan, that it rhymes.
Whoa, you're right.
And what's this? I do see special thanks to George Lucas in the end credits.
Oh my god.
All right, but let's get into talking characters. Nate, do you mind telling us about the main character?
So Haitani is pretty great. He is part of the great tradition of delinquent sports characters in Jump. He's a tough guy, of course. Really likes soccer now. Not for some reason. It's because why would you deny yourself a chance to become stronger? He wants to improve. Most delinquents want to get out of this life.
True.
They're tired of people telling them they ain't shit. So they're going to find something that will make people recognize them. And that is why he gets into soccer. He understands it's only a game. However, it's what you get from it. It is the crowd shouting your name. It is the team thanking you, and victory feels good because what makes up every Jump manga? Friendship, effort, victory.
Yes, that's actually a friend of the show, MaxyBee, who actually works on this show, has a podcast called Friendship, Effort, Victory, I believe.
And I mean, hey, you know, look, ball is life. And even if it's soccer, ball is life.
Ball is life.
Ball is life.
Did they really explain why he became so obsessed with soccer?
He did not become obsessed with soccer. He became obsessed with victory. And
Yeah,
he wanted to surpass the teacher because he found one thing that he couldn't do. You know, he's great at fighting. He can handle whatever comes at him. Nobody messes with him. But this teacher made him look like a fool. And he's like, okay, I'm going to beat you at your own game. And then he discovered his love for soccer along the way. It's very slam dunk.
Yeah, it really is kind of his teacher tricks him into discovering that he likes playing soccer, more or less. Like, because it is like, Haitani also satisfies an archetype that I really like, which is the guy on the team who's good at exactly one thing, but is really, really good at it. Like, he's an idiot when it comes to, like, every other aspect of soccer. He cannot dribble. He cannot do other things. I don't know much soccer. He can't score and stuff, but damn, he can steal the fucking ball away, and that's a big deal. And
he's very good at defense.
Yeah, he's extremely good at defense, which is interesting, you know? It's like, I feel like that's, like, usually it's like, oh man, he can score better than anybody else, but it's like, no, here it's like, he has a powerful skill that still, like, inherently requires other teammates to take advantage of.
I mean, that's a very smart way of having a character who has kind of a main character superpower, but then will also experience the growth that will, you know, make it worth going through week by week. And also, it does the narrative thing that something like Ice Shield 21 does, where, you know, you have specific roles on a team, and so you build a character around that role.
Yeah, I completely agree. Jordan, the opposite of defense is, of course, offense. You want to talk about Yuga?
So Yuga Takami, you know, he was the best scorer in all of middle school. He seems like he's gonna be like this cold guy who's like only focused on winning, and he kind of is. But like we start learning that like he has very little confidence in himself, and like despite all his skill, and he starts. A lot of the reason he's focused on winning is because he has an abusive dad who treats him like shit if he loses.
Yeah,
like I know that there's the word tiger mom for the mom version of that. I don't know the dad version. Lion dad.
Takami is an interesting character because you see this type of character in pretty much every sports manga. The cool guy who's usually, if not a prodigy, someone who is very skilled at the game in question. You have your Rukawa, your Miyata, your Kageyama, you know, half the cast of Prince of Tennis, and they are usually the rival to the hardworking hero, in this case, Haitani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love, though, how he's like a short king, and that's like his weakness. I actually had a old boss who likewise was like a D1 college player, but he was like too short to make it professionally. So I guess that is actually a really big deal.
No, it actually is a thing across all sports.
Except for, well, I guess equestrian or jockeys, you're too tall.
It is a big deal. It's just inverse. Yeah.
As someone who's done a lot of combat sports, I hate fighting short guys. Like judo, fighting a short guy, the center of gravity is lower. It sucks. Boxing, karate, fighting someone shorter, it sucks. So good on them.
Really?
It presents different challenges because if you're fighting someone taller, you lose a lot of momentum attacking upwards. And if you're fighting someone shorter, it throws off your aim because usually you're used to fighting someone same height or a little bit taller, but someone shorter, you got to like redo everything, you know?
What's interesting is that like they used to think that it was better to be short when you're playing basketball because you could move faster, and then like Will Chamberlain showed up and they were like, we're wrong. But yeah, anyway, Takami, yeah, you know, one thing that I liked is that like he really takes a lot of pride in like his speed and his ability to like make shots, and in the last game he forces a foul.
Oh, that was brilliant. I thought that was really well done.
That was so good.
Yeah,
so
that was
good.
such a power move. And before that, they seemed to not really care about fouls. Like in the first chapter, he grabbed someone's shirt and there was no repercussions.
Yeah, because like what I do know about soccer is that, and like in many ways, football is like this too, where like one of the, like making your opponent get a foul called on them is a part of the game. It is part of the strategy.
Basketball too. Yeah.
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 Oh, absolutely basketball.
And soccer, faking out their injuries is a big part of it too.
That too, yeah.
People clown on the soccer players, and like, you know, it is really funny when you see a guy get like tapped and he goes and he drops to the floor crying and stuff, but like
covering his face, yeah.
But like that's part of the game.
Yeah.
We know that if this series went on longer, they would have gone against a team of like expert floppers and getting Haitani kicked out of the game.
Oh, Jordan and I, soccer stars.
We show up in the manga.
Also, just in the interest of time, why don't we talk about the last character, Yuzin Nerima? He's the big bad guy, but not really, because they have like a generic villain at like the third chapter who never shows up again, the snake guy. This guy is just kind of like the thing they have to beat to be champions, and he just really likes Rubik's Cubes.
Yeah, what's kind of fun about like sports manga, and it can kind of be like a trap where it's like you don't really need a villain to create conflict because there's an inherent conflict in sports, which is
the game itself.
The game itself. I mean, you fall into a trap where like, well, without a notable villain, sometimes your manga can just become uninteresting. But I don't think that's really the series' issue. But like, yeah, Nerima.
I don't even consider Nerima a villain. He is a wall.
No, he's not really.
He's like, what's the eagle guy? Ushijima in Haikyuu, or like Hajime no Ippo. Every like 5 volumes, we get someone who is like some new wall they've got to scale, And he is the antagonist though. Like they build him up. Yes. And he's essentially the almost final boss. We'll get into that later.
Yeah. Damn, he loves Rubik's Cubes, and like, it's really, I love when a character plays Rubik's Cubes, because it's just the author going, hey, this guy's like smart, okay?
It's either that or they're playing chess, like one of the two shorthands of like, look how smart this guy is.
Oh, it's so good. I just wanted him to like finish a Rubik's Cube and throw it on a pile of Rubik's Cubes and then pull out another Rubik's Cube.
Oh, I was really hoping for that too.
Yeah.
All right. On that note of failure, why don't we get into why it failed?
Yeah.
So, Nate, I know you enjoyed the series, but I would be curious, what were some things you didn't enjoy about it?
It starts off like a lot of shonen sports titles, and I really feel that Shueisha is really trying to recapture the lightning in a bottle that Haikyuu was, in that if you look at a lot of the sports series that have come up lately, they are about 2 main characters who are friendly rivals, who are going to, work together, but also compete at the same time. It's this fucking Ted Lasso-ass hug it out bullshit. But on this note, with Embers, they kind of hate each other. Like, they learn to work together, but they kind of hate each other. I loved that, but they didn't play it up enough. Embers starts very, very strong, I feel, because, like, again, I live my life by why would you deny yourself a chance to get stronger? So proving yourself, that's a major delinquent hook. I love delinquent manga. I've read so many, and, I was a dumbass in high school, so, like, it resonates with me, So a character like Haitani, I look at him, and I go, this is great, but here's the other thing, too. If I like a Jump manga right from the start, it is doomed. It is guaranteed doomed.
Uh-oh.
I liked Ember. I liked Ayashimon. I liked Hunter's Guild Red Hood. Those were bomb as fuck.
How did you feel about Undead Unluck?
Actually, so I hated Undead Unluck when it started.
Yeah, that first chapter, man.
And yet, so another thing that's very, very important about me, never trust a Jump manga that starts great, right? You look at like Promised Neverland, Bleach, Death Note.
Ruri Dragon had a really good first chapter. Remember when the mom was like, oh yeah, your dad's a dragon. Oh, I forgot to mention that.
Ruri Dragon is very good, but it's so sporadic. Like,
yeah,
I can have a little sprinkle of it with, it's like, I don't know, it's a little one. I can enjoy that. I think it's in Jump Plus now.
It is, but it did start in Shonen Jump.
It did start in Weekly Jump, yes. But what I think Embers blew its load very quickly, and around chapter 12, they reintroduced the teacher from early in the series, and I was like, oh, this is already trying to wrap up.
Yeah, right?
They are already trying to wrap it up, and I can see where, like, okay, it's almost time for the final battle. Oh no, they're fighting the greatest team now, and it rushed through a lot of things, and it felt like it didn't have faith in itself. There is actually a page in chapter 18, right around the time I think where Takami forces a foul. And he says the line, there are times when, even though you're losing, you need to keep on fighting. And I can really feel like the author and artist are telling this to themselves as they push this series over the finish line.
I felt that too, yeah.
It's a good series, but I can see why it kind of had to close up shop. It did not immediately grab an audience like Haikyuu did, And there's so many sports titles right now that show up that have a cool premise, at least, like, and maybe beautiful art. Like, what's the Twincest baseball series that's going on right now? Harukaze Mount.
Oh God, I didn't know about that.
I joke about it's not actually about Twincest, but like I know that's what all the doujins are going to be.
Oh God.
There's the really stupid cross-country running one with the weird art. I managed a track team, so I'm always very hard on track-related manga. There was 9 Dragons Ball Parade, which really wanted to Ice Show 21 baseball.
Oh yes.
They had a lot of... So another thing that's important about Embers, now knowing, I didn't know that the author was an assistant to, Nomura Sensei for Blue Lock, but this really, really felt like Jump going, oh shit, we need a Blue Lock, because Blue Lock is a hit. Like, Blue Lock is popular, and Kodansha is really enjoying that. So it's like, oh shit, we need a soccer manga too. Oh wait, this didn't work out. And I don't know, like, they should have leaned into the Haitani Takami dichotomy more. And I also really feel that like I see a note here about how it should have been a fully delinquent team, but we had that with Rookies. Rookies is an old Morita manga, or is it Masanori Morita? Masanori Morita did Rookies about a delinquent baseball team and a teacher who's trying to like bring them up, make them better.
It's also the famous anime Bad News Bears.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say stand and deliver.
Yes. You got to do it for the kids. But like, delinquents are kind of passé right now, unfortunately.
It's kind of like, it's full circle. We just like nice people nowadays. That's kind of the thing.
Yeah. But having one delinquent, I think, works. And that's why I liked Haitani as a character. Having that one delinquent and then everyone else around him. Because, like, he's kind of one note, but a lot of sports manga leads are,
Yeah, and I want to say on that note, I think the characters were interesting, but they throw a lot of characters at you.
Yeah.
Like, they toss in a lot of characters. Like, one thing was, like, why did we need both the manager and the coach as two separate characters when they both kind of are half characters that don't do much? Or, like, we have this B team, all these B team characters that never show up again.
I mean, to be fair, though, that is kind of like, that's the setup for if it's a long series, now we have a supporting cast to pull into. And realistically, there is a manager and a coach, but we didn't need both. Just have the coach.
They could have introduced her later, which I think a lot of sports manga introduced our like mandatory coach, like female manager later on in the series once you get to know the actual people who are going to be playing.
I do feel like there is, like, if you do want to include more female characters in your sports manga about a male team, I think there are a lot of authors who are like, how do I do that? And I think that was maybe this guy's like thinking, but it did feel like, okay, so there's two girls and one of them understands soccer and the other one doesn't. Okay.
They did that in Haikyuu, and they were both managers. However, one manager was introduced fairly early in the series, and we got a second younger manager introduced later in the series to be kind of an exposition rookie.
Gotcha. I think the issue is really that, like, Haitani is the big, like, I don't know, I just feel like there are a lot of characters on there that don't end up amounting to that much, or they introduce one guy who I love. I love his whole thing, which is he's obsessed with muscles. And so he's like, hey, can I touch your muscles? Hey, oh man, that guy, he's a real pectoralis major, if you know what I mean. like stuff like that. Like, but we don't really learn much about that guy except for that he's like that.
Yeah, which is also the fact that there's such weak characterization. Like, everyone has their gimmick, and then we play soccer, and then no one really grows, and also no one talks about anything that isn't soccer. Despite, I feel like the series didn't really want to talk about soccer because they skip a lot of the soccer, and they also don't talk about any of the actual real practice or strategy about soccer.
It is extremely concentrated in terms of game versus off time. And so let's be real. Soccer is one of the easiest games in the world to play in terms of like what you need. You just need a ball. That's all you need, right? And you understand kickball into goal. Now, when you want to get into the deeper,
that's a different sport.
Okay, hit ball into goal with anything but hands. So with like the deeper strategy of soccer or football, that's when you get into like formations and like drawing fouls or, positioning, things like that. And I thought that's what we were going to be getting. But what this is like, they're like Dragon Ball fights. There's a little bit of cleverness that wins the day, but they don't explain much. And that's how this is set up versus a lot of other sports manga where they are explaining like bit by bit, here's how this works, why this player is in this position, why he used this kind of kick versus that kind of kick. We didn't really get that in this one because they wanted to jump straight into the action, for better and for worse.
It jumped into the action, but I kind of feel like there wasn't that much like actual soccer games going on.
They skip an entire match.
That's fine. Like that happens all the time. But it's not they skip one match. Near the end, we see that they have lost 5 matches. They skip like 4 matches before they get to the final match with the quote-unquote bad guy team.
I didn't even pick up on that. Wow.
Yeah, their record is 0-5 going up against this guy. Or, Nerima and the...
Oh, no, it's 0-5 against that team.
Oh, historically 0-5 against that team.
Yes.
Okay,
0-5
so I
against
misunderstood
that team.
But yes, they did skip a game. That happens all the time in sports manga.
Yeah.
And it's fine as an illustrative thing, but when we've got just 2 major matches and a practice match, 2 practice matches, let's be real. So there's the opening match, right, in middle school. There's the practice match against the snake guy, because every sports manga has a snake guy.
Yeah, of course.
Then they have the first real match, then they skip a match, and then we have the final match. I'm okay with that, because, like, again, they reintroduced the teacher in chapter 12, you know? So at that point, I'm like, okay, final battle time. Let's just spend time on that actual match that matters.
Yeah, I feel like this series was kind of structurally floundering.
Yeah.
The issue isn't even that I had like an issue with them like skipping the matches. It just meant that the best part of the series was not happening enough times. So it was just like the one game they had earlier was like really fun, but it was also a very short game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. But it was fun. So why don't we get into talking about some of the positives? Because I think there was a lot to enjoy in this series.
Yeah.
I want to start by saying I think the art was good. You can definitely tell this was a split labor. And there was a level of detail in the art that would not have been doable if they were doing the writing. There's a lot of visual metaphor that I think works really well.
Oh, yeah.
I think its use of blacks in particular was really, really interesting.
I liked how they would utilize Haitani's kind of like background as like a delinquent a little bit. Like, why is he good at stealing the ball? Because he's a thief. Or
he's
like,
a bully. He bullies the other players, yeah.
Like, wow, he has really good reaction time and is able to pick up on people's moves like immediately after they do it. How do you get that good? Well, he's fighting all the time. He got that way by fighting.
Yeah.
Obviously. But one of my favorite instances of this, though, is where like they have that really huge guy in like the first real match they have who's like using the fact that he's 6'3" as like to like bully other people and be like, I'm over you, I'm taller than you, I'm bumping into you, knocking you out of the way. And then he goes up to Haitani and he tries to knock into him, but he gets knocked on the floor instead because Haitani's just tough. And it's like
he's just built different, man.
He's just tough. It really showed his personality through his actions, David.
Yeah, and I mean, the characters are fun. Again, I would have liked to have seen more to them, but like what we did see was nice. Like, I think this author absolutely could write like a much more character-driven series if he wanted to.
Yeah.
And then Nate, how about you? What was something that I know you in particular really enjoyed this series? What was probably your favorite thing we haven't brought up yet?
So one of the things that's very, very important in shonen manga, especially action manga for me, is satisfying my bloodlust. I read shonen manga to watch people get knocked the fuck out. And while nobody really gets knocked out in this manga, save for like the first chapter, I like seeing the mental gymnastics and strategy of victory. And that is something that this manga does exceptionally well. The second they set foot on the pitch, it is the hypest place to be. You know, there are wolves and hawks and snakes and walls and all this cool shit symbolically showing a game of dudes kicking a ball around, right?
Guy gets his eyes gouged out. Symbolically
gets his eyes gouged out and then symbolically deafens himself so that he can, you know, he goes into a state of mushin, of no mind. You know, I always love that in sports. I mean, it's a martial arts thing, but putting it into sports is hype as shit. And so, again, seeing like this really cool delinquent character trying to better himself through soccer, and, you know, he brings that same kind of like figurative bloodlust onto the field to drag his team across the finish line. That is cool as fuck. Like, a lot of sports manga are very low key. We're all friends. This is calm. This is what, no, your blood, sweat, and tears are out there with your team. And, you know, you are not going to like shake hands at the end of the game unless you have left it all out on the field. And that's what Embers did.
Yeah, I appreciate that they show these guys like really upset when they lose, you know? Like, Green Greens did that, where it was like, no, actually,
with the famous crying panel.
Yeah, it's a really good crying panel. And it's like, yeah, no, like, I do this sport because I care about it. And I want to win. That's why I'm competing. And I lost. I do also want to say, like, something I thought was interesting was that the strategies they were discussing actually kind of made sense. Like, I understood what they were doing. Like, they discussed man coverage where everybody was, like, covered man to man. And, like, the coach was like, oh, well, to fight that, we're going to have all our guys spin, which throws everything off. And it was like, oh, I understand that strategy. I see why it would work.
The power of the spin, Jordan.
The power of the spin, David.
fucking JoJo.
It's fucking Araki again.
Imagine Araki made a fucking sports manga.
Oh, God.
I would read it. He did. Steel Ball Run was about horse racing.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's fair enough. Yeah. I also like how they actually start playing soccer really quickly. Like,
Yeah.
it's like the second or third chapter, they just straight up were having a soccer game where,
They play soccer in the first chapter.
but like an actual proper soccer game.
Yeah.
But again, I guess one-on-one counts. But like, yeah, they're all gassed. They are playing soccer. No one has criticism say they did not play enough soccer in the sports manga, which is actual criticism we have seen in other sports manga.
Oh, yeah.
Beast children. We'll just say it. Beast children. Like,
Yeah.
ugh.
And I think, like, ultimately this feels like kind of a cool deconstruction of, like, overly dramatic. Like, a Blue Lock is super dramatic sports, and this kind of feels like they're like, dude, it's just a fucking game.
And, like, it is important in the now, but, like, it is not going to end your life. Like, people get injured. Sports are dangerous. They are. But I do really appreciate that, like, once you're off the field, it's time to go. It's time to stop being a wolf and go back to being a human being. I like that.
Yeah, I also really liked, I actually like really liked where Haitani ended up at the end, where he was like,
I love that this has an actual ending. It is not like our battle is just beginning, you know, and the whole team, whatever. No, they had this game. It was super important. And then you see where everybody moved on with their life and it has an ending. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, and the ending was, you know what? He didn't become a pro soccer player. Instead, he went to become a teacher so he could help kids the way that his teacher helped him.
Great teacher, Haitani.
Which is great, yeah. But it also kind of, again, it's like soccer is a game. It's like the point, what the great thing that happened wasn't that I became good at soccer, it was that I found something that helped me redirect my efforts and like helped me focus and better myself. That's what was important about that, and that's what I want to do. I feel like that was like actually like kind of a poignant little message there.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then I think that's a great last point on positives, but in the interest of time, let's get into where it could have gone. So, Jordan, how about you? What are some things you would have tweaked about the series to have potentially made it more successful?
I would have liked them to take their time more introducing the characters. Like, yeah, it's tough to do that, you know? But like at the end of the day, it's like, I don't really understand I don't really know these other players that well. And that's a problem because they're the other characters. I don't think it does a great job of introducing them very well. Or if it's not as interested in that, I would have liked to see them, focus on the relationship between, Takami and Haitani, you know?
That's what Dojin is for.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, why don't we give the Dojin a chance? You know, that's how you succeed. You get a bunch of people to want to make Dojin about your manga. Let's give them a reason to write that yaoi.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I also think, like, as we talked about, just tone down how many characters, like we talked about the manager issue. They should have picked like maybe one or two characters, really explored them a bit, and then moved on to the next character, which is kind of, I think it's a bit formulaic, but it works because it means a character gets to establish who they are, then you can see some fun interactions, but they turn into like an actual supporting character after they have their time in the limelight, you know? Because with sports manga, the nice thing is that we're going to have a gang that'll be established, and we're going to be with these 7 to 8 characters for pretty much the lifetime of the series.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're in a rush to really have to introduce and define characters so fast.
Yeah, it's more at this point, let's get you attached to the characters that we have. Because, yeah, especially like early on with the manga, it's like we have to figure out a way to make the reader care about these characters. Because, like, otherwise, like, we've seen it so many times on this show where they just introduce a big roster of characters. And I'm just like, I don't know who these fucking people are. I don't care about them, you know?
So they kind of introduce a ton of characters and then immediately pull it back to just Haitani and Takami.
Yeah, which is like, what was the point?
I know in the longer term, we would have spent more time with these other characters, but once they saw that, like, you know, chopping block's coming, okay, let's focus on who we've got. We'll give Takami some closure. Really good way to finish things up for him. And then he lets go of his pride and, you know, focuses on victory. And we'll give Haitani his closure, and then we can actually conclude the story. Like, I see mechanically why it happened, but I feel like I agree with you guys in that if they had kind of drip fed other characters, so we see, okay, here's these other characters, we see Bugai, and then Bugai doesn't do shit for the rest of the series, you know. Snake Guy could have had a cool moment where he did something to help, you know, but they were just kind of there, and it was the Haitani and Takami show.
Like, I guess that's the thing. It's kind of like it almost feels like you're wasting time introducing these characters. It's like you only have so much time to make an impression on the reader in Shonen Jump. It's cutthroat as hell right now, especially. Like, Jump is not going to give you time. Even if it would be better for your story, because sometimes a better story is one that takes its time. That's not Shonen Jump, unfortunately, right now.
Yeah.
If you're going to introduce a character, you got to keep them in the game.
Clear focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And yeah, like, introduce a character. By that, I mean, like, make them the focus of the chapter. Obviously, you can have background characters.
Yeah.
You can have, like, a supporting cast. But yeah, like, Bugai wavered drastically in terms of importance, I feel. Like, sometimes the manga forgot he's
like,
there.
I thought he was going to be like Gori in Slam Dunk, you know? He's going to be important. And yet, he shows up, has a little one-on-one with Haitani for one chapter, and then accepts him onto the team and we never see him again. And Snake Guy, who is like another antagonist character who could have had a cool moment in that final game, just something small, you know, to show, oh, the whole team's working together. The snake and the wolf and the hawk are doing awesome things. Look at this. No, we didn't get that.
Or you could have him in the background seething, even. Like,
that too.
I am curious on this note. What would you guys have thought if he actually didn't make it and he was put on the team, the main character? I feel like that would have helped because then they could have explained the fundamentals more. It's also not this weirdness where this dude's been playing soccer for like 6 months and he's good enough to be on what is that? It seems like a very prestigious A team.
Yeah.
And then imagine if he really had to like actually become friends with this fucking snake guy and figure out that dynamic.
Yeah.
You know what? I would read that. That's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it could have been like, well, I'm glad he's on our side kind of thing, right?
Yeah, maybe like Takami gets hurt or something, and they got to sub him in. They got to sub Haitani in.
Yeah.
And so he gets his shot at the big time. Again, bringing up like Slam Dunk, right? That's a small team and a small group of characters. But like the fact that Sakuragi sucks he fouls out of like his first 4 or 5 games is such a key part of the manga, because when he doesn't foul out, you are like, fuck yeah, my boy! And we got some great like moments of aura in Embers, but we never really had reason to cheer on Haitani, you know? I like him because he's cool, but he's not an underdog in the way that a lot of sports manga leads are.
I feel like that is ultimately the problem with this series. There isn't really like a dramatic kind of reason to care. Besides, I like these characters. I want them to succeed. But beyond that, it's like, well, I don't know, maybe like show me more about Hayatani's like home life.
They need at least one chapter that was not about soccer at all.
Yes, I agree with that. Like, Haikyuu is extremely volleyball focused. However, we spend time with them when they are not practicing or playing. And it's very brief, it's very rare, because Haikyuu does the thing that something like Hajime no Ippo does, where you are either playing or you are practicing. And there's little trickles of like what their daily life is like, you know? However, it still did it. And I guess again, because Embers was so concentrated and like, oh shit, we gotta like get all the important narrative stuff. We don't have time for side quests. So they just crammed it all in there and it was all soccer all the time.
Is it like really? So Haitani has just stopped fighting? It's all done.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's all over. He was fighting every single... Yeah, but like, I don't know, show me like, is there fallout from that?
Is he no longer recognized as the strongest delinquent?
Does that have any kind of impact on him? Like, what about when he goes home? Like, what about when he runs into the people he used to fight? Is it like, are they just gonna let him?
Well, because all his delinquent friends end up going to high school too, and suddenly, you know, the gang's cured.
Yeah.
The gang gets cured. Title card.
The gang gets cured. Also, wow, so he really got into that prestigious high school like really easily, huh? He was just like...
That was the thing, like, he has such an easy route. Like, his progression is insane.
Yeah.
For someone who'd never had played the sport before.
Like, you know, it's like, oh man, he's like unbelievably good at this one thing. But it is still like, there's not enough conflict, you know?
Yeah, which I think having no out of soccer things makes it hard because there's nothing outside to bring into the game.
He doesn't really have much internal conflict either at all. Like,
he is pure. He is a pure boy.
Just like Jordan.
Thank you.
And he is pure violence. So.
Just like Jordan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fuck them kids.
Yeah.
No, that's basketball.
Now you are a good basketball man.
Oh, what a series. All right, I think on that note, let's get to miscellaneous thoughts because we're getting a little off topic, okay? So I kind of was wondering whether the series just kind of gave up on being realistic because it kind of felt like he went a little Super Saiyan at the end and there's like, did you guys read Demon Slayer where they have like this Slayer mark?
Yes.
Where you get like a power boost and he just activates that and that's how he like catches up in the last game.
Okay, to be fair, that you kind of get that mentality when you are playing sports or when you are competing. You do kind of feel like, everything is moving in slow motion and a million miles an hour all at once. You feel your blood roaring in your ears, and you feel like you power up when you do some cool shit. So I get that.
It turns into the Chimera Ant arc from Hunter x Hunter.
Hell yeah.
When the narrator comes in,
Oh, with all the narration.
Yeah, like you start hearing a narrator and the art gets really shaky and yeah.
The only reason the art gets really shaky is because I was shaking off a concussion. That's it.
Oh, there you go. All right, Nate, did you have a miscellaneous file you want to share?
I just wish that this had more of a chance. Like, it kind of signed its own death warrant very early on by them essentially kind of knowing what was coming and deciding to wrap things up, making the complete product a little worse in some ways by the end. Because, with a lot of shorter titles, they tell what they've got. They tell their opening arc, kind of close things up, and then do the whole, our battle has just begun. That's a meme at this point. It's such a common way to end these kind of titles.
Yeah.
And it falls into the same trap that a lot of sports manga recently in Jump, really just in Jump, because in Sunday and Magazine, they are continuing to put out new sports titles and they give them room to grow. They give them room to continue. But Jump wants hits. They want something that is going to stand the test of time, even if that means the title churn is going to be ridiculous.
Jump wants pictures of Spider-Man on their desk.
You got it.
One thing I liked about this series, one other thing is the humor sometimes got me. I really like Haitani is studying with this, with the manager. They spend all night, learning strategy and all this stuff. We introduce the new Haitani, and it goes in, he's just wearing glasses. I really like that. That was really good.
He could be anyone.
It's whoa, he's smart now because he's wearing glasses.
He's wearing glasses.
And it turns out that he's still really dumb, power levels dumb from Chainsaw Man. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Also, do you guys think this is a parody? This felt like it was kind of a soft parody.
I did not feel that at all.
No,
it
I
felt
don't think
very, very sincere about trying to be the most badass thing possible.
Just like us. Also, Jordan, yes, they do recycle the ball drawing sometimes. I don't know if you were keeping an eye for that. If you can see in Chapter 8, it wasn't as blatant, though.
No, so here's the thing. What we're talking about, why we bring that up, is that there's this manga we covered very early on, and we re-looked at it a couple years ago called Beast Children. And so you know about it, Nate.
I am aware. Not familiar, I am aware.
It's very bad.
So we have a level on this show. When we started, it was flop or not a flop, and now we have certified flop, which we created because Beast Children was so bad.
I understand having to create a level for that.
Yeah. But one of the things that Beast Children does is it constantly copy and pastes the same JPEG of the rugby ball.
Oh, boy.
And it's clearly the same image every time.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially now because all Jump is pretty completely digital. So it's very easy for them to just be okay, take this, throw it in here for better and for worse.
Here's the thing. Shortcuts are often a necessity, especially with how difficult it is to grind these chapters out and stuff and with the deadlines you have to hit. But you have to do it in a way where it isn't super blatant and noticeable and distracting.
Yeah.
Which I feel like this series manages to do because I didn't notice that.
Also, just the technical level is very high in this.
Yeah, this is very well drawn.
You very rarely see a shitty panel.
Yeah.
But again, it's split work, like you mentioned, so the artist had time to art, the writer had time to write.
Yeah.
That old guy's face just bugs me, though. I'm just
Jordan just hates old people.
I just don't like how he's drawn. I don't know, something about, the lines on his face, it just, rubs me the wrong way. But everyone else looks fine.
Yeah, okay, this guy, it's how some people can't draw children. This guy can't draw old people.
Yeah.
God, a Rocky drawing children in parts.
Oh, God, yeah. Emporio with those abs. Yeah.
Oh, God. Also, I want to point out, how does a school with a large enough soccer program that they have a very competitive A and B team have a student as a coach instead of a full-time coach?
Because shut up, that's why. We need a female character.
Okay, I'm just making sure that didn't seem to make any sense.
Yeah.
Okay, to be fair, that's a lot of sports manga. They have a young character because the old coach yelling at everybody is going to be I don't know, it's why is this old character here when we could have another more merchandisable character who is young?
Yeah. I do appreciate that she wasn't super sexualized, which
Oh, yeah. There was like a shower scene that really wasn't that sexual, which was nice.
Yeah, they happened to be bathing. Little weird, but sure, whatever.
It wasn't like that bad, but it was just like, I kind of thought, oh, so in this league, the students are the coaches. And then it turns out like, no, his former teacher is the coach of the school
Yeah, why not?
now. So it's like, clearly, no, it's just this one place. Okay.
Yeah, and then before we end the final verdict, I just want to read some fun trivia from the wonderful MaxyBee. A fully voiced version of the first chapter is available online.
What?
Embers is the first football, soccer, if you're nasty. Thank you, MaxyBee. They're British. Manga and Shonen Jump since 2018, so it's been 7 years. The longest football gap since the debut of Go Shoot in 1979. The background on page 20 of chapter 1 is actually drawn by Toshiayo, artist for Wistoria, Wand and Sword. The author half-jokingly asked him for help, and the mad lad actually did it. All right, and then volume extras are some minor art corrections, character profiles, credits, thumbnails for chapter drafts, and earlier character designs, so nothing too interesting.
Okay.
But you know what is interesting is the final verdict, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
Let's get down into our 6-word summary, starting with the community. Tucker said, King Crimson defeated by not thinking. There's our JoJo reference. MaxyBee, the beautiful game reduced to embers. Odor of the Flame Flamer, burn out like a diamond ember. Great Potter, red card, removed from Shonen Jump. Or a Paladin, yeah, not teaching this to Charmander. What a weird coincidence, right, Jordan? We put that on request in before seeing that.
It's not just that the word ember, the first time I ever saw it was Pokemon.
Just for some context, Nate, we have art for each episode, and the cover art for this one is Charmander playing soccer. And then Ball says, where were all the other players? Beach says, smoke without a flame or spark. Chicken Warlord, delinquent dreams of becoming inspiring geezer. Diego, embers burn out fast, don't they? Dude Rock says, teacher turns delinquent into figurative pyromaniac. Hit point, the manga gets a red card. Isekai Sensei, it's just burning from jock itch. Jersey Luck, he shoots and he has flopped. Jordan, do you want to read the rest?
Yeah. Luffy Taro says, badass art smothered the actual soccer. Meru says, siamo fuori della colpa. Somebody will get that. Portal Man says, the only manga made for giraffes. Savia says, stupendous art can't defend empty pitch. S. Bubby says, title's not wrong. Burnt out fast. Scott says, soccer manga delinquent couldn't fan flames. The Laughing Fool says, I get knocked out. That's it. Thors said, gimme bald teacher in every manga. Unlinking Duck, not high enough level for flamethrower. Xylon, embittered, misfit, bullies, egocentric, righteous strikers. And if you take the first letter from each of those, you get embers.
Nice.
Elysian would not lie online says, kick ball, run fast, die faster. And David says,
hey, that's me.
Hey.
All right, so I'll read mine out. Round balls and square cubes, man.
Hey.
I don't know why I just wrote that one. I honestly don't know why I thought of that one. It's just what I did. Jordan, how about you?
He's gonna kick your balls away.
Take my balls away.
How about you, Nate?
I said, appropriate title, burns bright, fades fast.
I love it. That's a great one.
Nice.
And then I feel this is one of the worst things I would call not a flop. It went fast. I enjoyed it. I had fun characters. The art was good. I don't know why. I just feel like this isn't a flop, even though it's not like the best thing I've read.
I'm going to take the opposite thing. I feel like this is one of the best things I would call a flop.
Interesting.
Yeah. It didn't really blow me away. I feel like I wasn't quite as into it as you guys were. I did like it, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then how about you, Nate?
It was very hot-blooded. I loved it. I could see the cracks forming early on, and it knew that it was gonna end soon. So at that point, I was kind of like, okay, it's not like they're checking out. They're trying to put their best foot forward and end it. So it really felt kind of fatalistic. It is good. I like it. I recommend it to people, but I can see why it didn't stay with us.
Yeah. So would you call this a flop or not?
Yeah, I would. It's like, it is a good flop. Like, flop is not bad to me. I think, like, something can be not popular and still be awesome.
Absolutely.
I feel like only saying that the popular things are good is a trap. And in this case, like, it didn't get popular. I can see why it didn't get popular, but it's for me.
I will say, though, that flop or not is purely critical or not in this case.
Yeah, like that's just our ranking. We're not talking necessarily about...
Yeah.
Because objectively it flopped. Like, it's like... Yes.
Yeah, but so you would still say that you consider it something you wouldn't consider good.
I'm gonna buy the volumes. I want this on my shelf.
Okay, so you would consider it not a flop then?
Sure, I'll take that, yeah.
Okay, sounds good. All right, well, Jordan, since we disagreed, I don't think we have to argue if this is the best or worst thing we've ever read.
No. It's just, it is. It's
It is what it is.
it's all right. It's just not quite there.
And it is time for wrap up, so let's get into that. Nate, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can people get more of your awesomeness in their life?
I am really only on Blue Sky, nateming.bsky.social. At the moment, I am spending a lot of time writing, reading, playing games. I don't really have anything to plug right now. I will say, go outside, touch grass, lift a weight, actually do something to make your life better. Do not deny yourself a chance to get stronger. Actually, go out there and better yourself. That's my plug.
Hey, I'm at the gym 4 days a week, brother. I feel that.
Appreciate the motivation. I'm not at the gym 4 days a week, so.
Hey, you look great though, Jordan.
Appreciate.
But Nate, that is awesome to hear. I also want to give props to Jordan for making the opening and ending theme, being a great co-host, and helping with the editing.
Thank you, David, for all the work that you do in the show, which encompasses so much of what we do here.
Yep. Props to Lyle for the awesome cover art. You can find her online at Lyle Mur, and Nigel for being our generous art benefactor. Thank you, Dylan, for assistance with editing. You can find his podcast, Anime Out of Context, at animeoutofcontext.com. Thanks to Tucker and MaxyBee for assistance with pronunciation, translation, other miscellaneous research. Find us on Blue Sky/X at Shonen Flop, Tumblr Shonen-Flop, and our website shonenflop.com. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever else you get your podcasts. And as we talked about before, join the Shonen Flop Discord. It's open to everyone. Hang out with us, talk about anime, games, whatever else is on your mind. We even have a manga book club and movie nights. Find a link to it in the show notes or on our site, shonenflop.com. And then, Jordan, anything you want to toss in there, big dog?
Thank you to my wonderful girlfriend, Steph.
I want to give a shout out to Rachel, my wonderful wife, for buying me pizza because it was raining. Real flop core.
What a champ.
Real flop lorers know what that's about.
Oh, that's a whole thing.
And Ravioli for having a late night business meeting with all her stuffed animals, where I woke up and I just found her on the floor surrounded by 6 of her stuffed animals.
Aww.
It was very cute, but I was very confused when I stepped on something in the morning.
Ravioli is his dog.
Yes, Ravioli is my little puppuccino dog. And all that's left is let's get the sign off. Thank you so much for joining us. Tune in next Monday as we give our first thoughts on Bakudan. This has been David.
This has been Jordan.
This has been Nate.
And you've been listening to Shonen Flop.
Keep on flopping, floppers.
Yeah.